Secure relationships often feel quieter than people expect. The practical engine is simple. They are not built on constant highs, fear, guessing, or dramatic proof of love. A simple example is two people feeling close after an ordinary grocery trip because the connection is steady. Once you see that, security can feel calm before it feels exciting. The first feeling is emotional safety. Mechanically, you can share disappointment, needs, mistakes, and fears without expecting punishment or disappearance. A realistic case is telling a partner you felt ignored and receiving curiosity instead of mockery. That small detail changes the decision because safety makes honesty possible. Secure love includes reliability. The process works because people do what they say often enough that the relationship becomes predictable in a good way. One ordinary version is a partner calling when they said they would, or explaining early when plans change. This matters because small consistency builds large trust. Conflict feels different in secure relationships. The hidden lever is that arguments may still hurt, but they do not automatically feel like abandonment or war. Think of a couple disagreeing about money and returning later to solve the budget together. So the useful takeaway is that repair matters more than never fighting. Secure relationships allow individuality. The moving part is this: closeness does not require losing friends, hobbies, values, or private thoughts. Picture one partner spending Saturday with friends while the other feels included in trust, not threatened by space. The result is that freedom and connection can exist together. Reassurance is available without humiliation. What changes the outcome is that asking for comfort does not make you weak, and giving comfort does not feel like imprisonment. This shows up when saying "I need a little reassurance" after that awkward conversation and receiving it kindly. That is why needs can be spoken without games. Secure relationships have less mind reading. In real life, people ask, clarify, and explain instead of building entire stories from silence. You can see it when checking whether a quiet mood is about work stress rather than assuming loss of love. The practical lesson is that questions replace anxious guessing. They also have boundaries. Under the surface, security is not unlimited access. It respects time, energy, consent, and personal limits. For example, a partner saying "I love you and I need a quiet hour after work." The viewer should remember that boundaries feel less threatening when the bond is steady. Trust in a secure relationship is not blind. The practical engine is simple. It grows from repeated evidence, transparent behavior, and repair after mistakes. A simple example is someone admitting they forgot an errand, apologizing, and fixing it without defensiveness. Once you see that, trust survives because accountability is normal. Secure relationships reduce performance pressure. Mechanically, you do not have to be impressive every minute to remain loved. A realistic case is being tired, messy, uncertain, or quiet without fearing you have become unlovable. That small detail changes the decision because acceptance allows real rest. Intimacy feels paced rather than forced. The process works because emotional closeness, physical closeness, future plans, and vulnerability develop with mutual consent. One ordinary version is one person saying they want to move slower and the other responding with respect. This matters because pace becomes a shared conversation. Secure relationships still include attraction and desire. The hidden lever is that calm does not mean boring. It means the excitement is not powered by fear. Think of missing someone because you enjoy them, not because you are terrified they will vanish. So the useful takeaway is that stable love can be passionate without being chaotic. A secure partner cares about impact. The moving part is this: they may not intend harm, but they are willing to understand how their behavior landed. Picture saying "I did not mean it that way, but I see it hurt you." The result is that impact matters alongside intention. Secure relationships make future planning easier. What changes the outcome is that money, family, location, commitment, and values can be discussed without every topic becoming a threat. This shows up when talking about moving cities as a shared problem instead of a loyalty test. That is why hard topics become workable when the bond feels safe. Your nervous system may need time to trust security. In real life, if chaos once felt normal, calm love can feel unfamiliar or even suspicious at first. You can see it when someone waiting for the hidden catch after weeks of consistent kindness. The practical lesson is that secure love may require adjustment when instability was your old normal. Secure relationships are not perfect relationships. Under the surface, people still disappoint each other, misunderstand, get tired, and make mistakes. For example, forgetting an anniversary plan and then repairing with ownership and care. The viewer should remember that security is shown by response after imperfection. A useful sign is whether you become more yourself. The practical engine is simple. In secure love, people often feel safer to grow, speak, try, fail, and rest. A simple example is starting a new course because your partner encourages growth without controlling the outcome. Once you see that, the relationship supports expansion rather than shrinking. Secure relationships feel like a dependable base. Mechanically, you can go into the world, face stress, return with honesty, and still feel connected. A realistic case is coming home after a hard day and not needing to perform a perfect mood. That small detail changes the decision because the relationship becomes a place of recovery, not another battlefield. Secure relationships often feel calmer than people expect. They may not create the same adrenaline as chasing, guessing, or proving your worth. Instead, there is a steady sense that connection will not disappear because of one imperfect moment. You can have a bad day, ask a direct question, or need space without fearing the whole bond will collapse. Security shows up in ordinary behavior. Messages do not have to be decoded like puzzles. Conflict does not automatically become a breakup threat. Affection is not used as a prize and silence is not used as punishment. Both people can be separate without making the other person feel abandoned. That steadiness is often the real sign of safety. A secure relationship still has problems. People misunderstand each other, get tired, feel insecure, and disagree. The difference is repair. Instead of turning every issue into a power struggle, both people can return to the conversation and care about the impact. Security is not the absence of conflict. It is confidence that conflict can be handled. Secure relationships feel safe because love is paired with reliability. There is room for honesty, space, closeness, mistakes, and growth. You do not have to perform constantly to keep the bond alive. Over time, that safety changes the nervous system. The relationship becomes less of a test and more of a place where both people can breathe. A secure relationship usually leaves you with more energy for life, not less. You still have responsibilities, disagreements, and personal struggles, but the relationship is not constantly draining attention through uncertainty. You can focus on work, family, health, and growth because the bond feels steady in the background. That quiet steadiness is easy to overlook until you have lived without it.